Hey guys, B.O.L.T here, and I just messed up my hair. There we go. I think I'm gonna be taking this. Anyways, The Walking Dead Telltales has not been covered by my summary videos. And I was writing it down in my lost pages and realized it's a long one. To make sure you guys understand the choices and also understand the meaning behind things and also the Easter eggs to the original Walking Dead comic. It's gonna take me to cover every episode per video. So we're gonna start with episode 1 of season 1. I will try to rush through any of them the second I can, but that's not guaranteed. So, anyways, I might be going back and forth between. Actually, no, I might actually make this a Sunday thing where I get through the most part. Sorry, I'm trying to get this hair to where it's not in my eyes, and this is the best look for such. Anyways, let's get into it. For once, I'm using my lost pages, and here we go. So Lee Everett, son of pharmacy owners in Macon, and is a university teacher, learns his wife is cheating on him, and in a moment of rage, kills the man. After being arrested on his way to prison is actually the prison from the Walking Dead comic book, and if you're a show watcher, the home from season 3 and 4. He was getting taken to this prison, and if he were actually to make it, he probably would have ran into Rick. The thing is, he wouldn't have ran into Clementine either. So the officer starts a conversation, which gets him distracted from the road, hitting someone, making the car go through a rail and over a hill, crashing. So the thing about this conversation, if you go along with it, you do realize that there is a person he did arrest and have in the back of his car seat, that was from the original comic book, and you do get a name drop from the show, which I believe it is Thomas. Thomas Richards was a killer and a murderer. He had a switch personality. Basically, he was an innocent baby boy, but whenever he kind of got aggressive, he was an instant killer. So I believe it was he killed his brother or killed his mother, and they caught him as they walked in on him killing the person, and he was sensing it wasn't him, and he snotted and pissed himself, I guess, and where Mr. Lee Everett was sitting. But yeah, basically, if you go through the conversation, you do get this cameo Easter egg. And then after the crash, later, waking to a deep cut on his leg, Lee makes his way out of the car and to the officer's side and learns that he has been turned into a zombie/walker. After killing it, Lee finds himself cornered by the dead. Making his way through the woods, hops over a fence into a suburban neighborhood. Looking for help, he goes into a home to find it worse for wear. The kitchen floor is bloody. He finds a phone voicemail. Listening to it, he learns of the owner's demise. This also tells him that he's been knocked out for days. That's why he's dehydrated. That's why his wound is kind of on the worst side, and also how chaos kind of spread a lot. It wasn't as fast as he believes it was, but it was days after he got into the car accident. But anyways, the owners are a couple who went to a vacation to Savannah, leaving their little girl Clementine with a babysitter. During their stay, the father is bitten and hospitalized. The mother telling progress of the process of the chaos in the area and her husband's turning. Finally telling the babysitter to grab their daughter and leave the city. After exploring the house more, Clementine calls over a walkie-talkie from the backyard treehouse, beginning a conversation with Lee, until the babysitter, who has been turned, attacks Lee. Thanks to Clem giving Lee a hammer, he's able to overpower the ghoul. Clem explains that she fell victim a couple nights out and is the reason for the blood on the kitchen floor. Lee promises her that he'll look after her until they find her parents. Now is when you can choose between leaving night or day. During the day choice, they find two survivors named Sean Green and Chet, trying to make a path for their truck. After helping and escaping to Sean's father's farm, and Chet leaves to check on his ma. So basically, you find two survivors. They just need help getting their car out of the way. That way, some cars out of the way so that way they can get out, and give you a chance to get out of the neighborhood. And during the night one, you run into Sean as well, but this time with an officer of the law. Sean explains that their friend Chet ended up getting dragged away by the ghouls. Sadly, finding him turned. The group escape to Sean's dad's farm. Sean brings his father, Herschel Green from the show and from the comic. He brings out his father, Herschel, to meet you and to clean and wrap the wound. There is another Easter egg where Herschel tells Sean to go inside and check on his sister, which it could be like 5 different options, but most of the people think it is Maggie, and people who think it might be Beth because she was doing her little suicide/depression. Beth was not in the comics. This is based on the comic universe. Beth did not exist in the comic universe. So this could have been on multiple occasions. The older sister Lacey, Maggie, or the two twin little girls. I believe one of them was Susie, but they ended up dying like right as soon as they go into the prison. But you do know of a sister that Herschel is bringing up. He basically, as he's wrapping your wound, goes over the rules and the reason for the game. So basically, the choices matter and all that. If who you're choosing to tell the truth to, who you're trusting, it all matters. And I'm done with the split hair. Alright, next. After Herschel helps Lee, him and Clem stay in the barn till morning, waking up to meet another family staying there. Kenny the father, Katja the mother, and Duck their son. They were staying with their aunt, and on their way back home, see the chaos. Kenny is a commercial fisherman, Katja is a vet, and Duck, his name is from the duck off the water's back. Basically, he isn't fazed by certain things. While helping around, Kenny with his truck, Sean with some boards for a fence, and Herschel with some hay, Lee and Herschel start a conversation about trust and all that, before being interrupted by screams. As Herschel goes for his gun, Lee comes up to Sean pinned under a tractor, which was started and turned on by Duck, which ended up rolling over his foot. Walkers are on the fence trying to get to Sean and are grabbing onto Duck. There's 2 decisions to either help Sean or help Duck. During the helping Duck situation, Lee punches off a walker and helps Kenny save Duck. Trying to go help Sean as well, the fence ends up breaking, allowing the walkers to get to him. As Herschel rounds the corner, shooting all the walkers, including a turned Chet. So no matter what, even if you get him in the morning and he goes to check on his maw has turned and he was caught on his way there, and he gets killed no matter what. Sean is dead, so basically if you don't help Sean, he dies by the time Herschel gets there. And this makes Herschel blame Lee and Kenny, pushing them off his land. But this does make Kenny trust you, and you get a ride from Kenny. If you help Sean, Lee runs to get the walkers off Sean and try to get him out of the pinned position. Kenny runs to save Duck. When you try to call him for help, Kenny just runs off. He turns to leave. And the boards break as Herschel turns the corner. He shoots the walkers off his boy. Sean has enough life to explain that Lee was trying to save him, making Herschel solely mad at Kenny. But of course, Lee does take up an opportunity previously given an invite for a ride that Kenny gave him earlier. Anyways, they make their way to Macon as their truck dies, leaving them stranded among walkers, but they are saved by other survivors. Staying in Lee's parents' pharmacy, they met Larry, a hot-headed ex-military, Lily, Larry's just as hot-headed daughter, Carly, a reporter, Doug, a camera guy, and Lee, and our boy Glenn Rhee, is a pizza delivery boy, who are looking for supplies before the commotion. After an argument between Kenny and Larry, at this point during this argument, you can either take Larry and Lily's side or Kenny and Katja's side. Those two like you a lot better. Larry gets a heart attack during the commotion. Lily asks to search for nitroglycerin pills to soothe his heart attack, and is to be found in the locked med bay. Talking to the others, you learn that Carly, a good shot, knows that Lee's affair incident, so she knows that Lee is a murderer. Larry found Lee's dead parents and drugged them out when they died together. Doug, he's a gadget guy, and then Glenn knows his way around, so he can go in and out. After finding Lee's parents' last resting place, so finding where Larry found them, we learn that Lee's favorite subject was history. He wanted kids, but his wife did not, and Lee's dad could beat someone with a cane just as easily as a healthy man. After going to a motel with Glenn and Carly, finding a bitten woman who kills herself or has Lee shoot her, taking an axe from there, you go to from the motel. Yeah, the axe was outside the motel. You cut off the locked gate. Lee and Doug turn on some nearby TVs to get the walkers' attention, allowing Lee to walk out and find his turned brother, who was a nurse and helping out with the pharmacy. Getting his keys to the med bay, and putting him down, Lee goes to give the keys to get to the med bay for the alarm to go off and alerting the nearby walkers, making them quickly leave. Larry gives Lee a knuckle sandwich, knocking him down to be saved by Kenny. Getting to the motel, Lee talks to the others in the aftermath. Larry knows about Lee's incident as well. Glenn leaves to Atlanta for a possibility at friends and family when the chaos comes to their doorstep. So Atlanta is getting overtaken at this point over radio. And as Glenn leaves, everyone thinks that everything's going to be fine. And then the power goes out as the episode ends. So anyways, that's it. Even though I can probably fit another episode in here, but I'm not. Can I fit one? Actually, I can probably fit one in here. So after a few months, they find Mark, who is stockpiling stuff. He's brought in, but the thing is, the stockpile goes quickly through a group, and they're hunting and all that. But thanks to the walkers, a lot of the gain around is kind of gone. Kenny and Lily are doing a power squabble. Larry's getting mad at whomever. You're trying to choose between who's getting food and who's not. You get whoever's favor first whenever you give them food and all that. And then as things go, here's when kind of things change. If you saved Lee, I forgot to mention this during episode 1. As the escape to leave the pharmacy, you can choose between Carly and Doug. No matter who you choose, the other one dies. Carly aims where Doug's stuff lets them know someone's coming, but two brothers who are from a dairy farm right down the block are asking for, I think it was gasoline for some food. So in exchange. And basically they have a few people come. Basically the person that comes with you, you have Mark, Lee, and then whomever you saved. The person that you saved takes the food back to the others. That way they can have some nourishment and to come back to the farm to get some food in them, because they the mother of the two boys, I think it was the St. Carvers, allowed them to get food and come for dinner. But during this stuff, Lee finds things sinister. Kenny, when he gets, I think he gets there, he realizes that it's sinister as well. During this situation, Mark gets shot just as the people are coming, and he gets shot in the shoulder and is taken to be taken care of. And then it's like you look around, the fence is electrocuted and barbed wired, so any walkers can easily can't really get in unless they get on the post and start pulling it down, which you gotta push off. And then I'm trying to remember the rest. And then it's like Katja tries to be a vet towards the last cow, which kind of makes you think that's the only cow and this is a dairy farm, and they're kind of serving meats to everyone. But you also go around, you find the back room, which is the slaughter room. You wonder why there's so much fresh blood. You wonder why you guys were attacked, and it ends up being that they're just some they're marauders that are just around the corner that try to attack people for whatever they got. Apparently they came to them for stuff before. Trying to remember the rest. Basically everyone tries to be sweet talking except for Kenny and Lee. And then when dinner comes around, Lee goes upstairs to wash up and finds Mark without his legs, and finds out that these people are freaking cannibals. And depending on how fast you are, you can go downstairs as fast as possible to stop Clem from eating it, or you can go slow and she eats it. And basically you blow the operation. They were gonna slaughter everyone except for Katja until she was useless. And basically they lock everyone up into a meat locker until things are needed. They take Katja and Duck, I believe. Larry has a heart attack through the stress. He doesn't wake up, so Kenny believes that he may turn into a walker. So this is your chance between siding with Kenny to kill off Larry to make sure he doesn't come up back as a walker, or side with Lily to try to help him restart his heart. Basically, if you side with Lily, when it comes to trying to take out an AC unit that gets you out, for Clementine to come out and unlock the door, the change in his pocket, it's easier to get her permission to get that. Where if you side with Kenny, she's kind of against you because you're a murderer at this point. Um, and later on, I'll explain it. But basically, come across, I think it's Danny, and he puts up a fight. And at the very end of the fight, you can either kill him or spare him, and just hook his foot into the and just spare him. The other one is you go for the mother, and the only way to do so, because the mother has Katja at gunpoint. Um, she backs up the stairs, but thing is, there's a turn to mark up the stairs. So basically, you're just approaching slowly for her to go up the stairs, just enough for Mark to come and get to her. Katja and Lee run outside to a shot. I believe it was Duck that got shot. Oh no! It was Kenny who got shot. By Andy, and Andy goes to fight. Lee and Andy fight around, and basically when you're getting pushed towards an electrical fence, um, basically here's what happens. So either when you sided with Kenny, if um, if you end up killing Danny, she sees that and thinks that you're just playing out murder, so she'll let you. She allows you to deal with it yourself. I believe I never went past that route, so I don't know. I believe, um, even you don't, if you don't kill him, she just doesn't accept it because of her dad. And then after that, he beats it. You can either finish him off, making you a full-on murderer for the group, or you can leave him to die and do his own thing. You end up running across a car, you raid the supplies, and then here's the thing: is you can either choose not to take it or to take it. You can show to Clem that to be a survivor, you need to take supplies, or if you don't take it, you try to be humanely and say, just in case this is someone else's, I don't want to take it. If you end up taking it, Clem gets a hoodie. And also some batteries for the walkie-talkie. If you don't get none of that. But you do also get to find the camera for a woman that it was a side story in that episode where basically you and Danny go out to the woods to look at for a little camp that the scavengers were at, and it ends up being this other woman with a crossbow trying to yell out, "Where's my daughter?" And it ends up being she kind of tries to blow the cover of the cannibalism, but before she can say anything, she gets shot dead by Danny. And Lee ends up having to figure out that she was actually trying to lure Clementine, thinking that it was her daughter. Basically, she took her hat in the beginning, had her hat. Lee found her hat, and thing is, she was videotaping. He found a camera, thanks to Carly, and find out that she was watching them the entire time. Took her hat, was talking to Clem, and then went about her way. We'll be doing episode 3 in another time because I'm super tired. See you guys in the next video. Bye bye.